Hey everyone, this is Megan Kelly. This is the final for database management systems. I'm going to be talking to you about AWSAthena, which is an Amazon Web Services querying program. So just to give you guys a little bit of background on AWSAthena, it's an interactive query service. So essentially, it utilizes SQL language to query and analyze data from Amazon S3. So Amazon S3 is a storage service produced by Amazon. You can basically upload data and store it within Amazon Web Services. So there's a connection there for that. Athena is completely serverless and it works on a pay per query basis. So when you make a query on Amazon Athena, that's when they'll start charging you, but otherwise it's completely free. Clusters are optimized by Amazon for efficiency purposes, and you can also connect this to AWS Glue, which is a service that basically exists for business analytics and business intelligence. So you can connect to S3 and ETL services. So the pros and cons for Amazon Athena, the pros, it's low cost. Pay per query is a great option to keep the costs low. The serverless structure and scalability is also great for businesses and individuals who don't want or have the means to set up a traditional database. So you can scale the database to the size of your company. And being able to do that is a good option to have for businesses small and large. Security, as with a lot of web services applications for Amazon, is built in, which certainly provides some peace of mind. It's also got connections to many programs, so along with the web services programs S3 and Glue, connections can be made to several business intelligence tools, non-Amazon, as well as Tableau for visualization. And this makes analysis very quick and very easy. Finally, Athena is automatically optimized so that no cluster adjustment or management has to be done on the user end. So that's great. The interface is also very simple and user-friendly. I'll get into that in a second. And it doesn't require outside training if the user is familiar with SQL language. So it's a great tool for people who want to use SQL to query and ultimately analyze data, but on their own terms. Obviously, there are some cons as well. The data does have to come from somewhere, and in Athena's case, it has to come from S3. So all of the data has to be in the proper format and then loaded into S3 if it wants to be used with Athena. There are also a few functions that aren't available yet, including stored procedures and user-defined functions. So that can be inconvenient for users that do want to use those capabilities. And there's also a limit to queries. So only 5 queries can be running at one time, and only 1 can be submitted at a time. Each account also can only have 100 databases, and each database is limited to 100 tables. Finally, not all regions are supported and able to connect to Athena, which might be an issue for international customers. And the graph right up in the top right, that was taken directly from Amazon Athena, and it's the list of, I'm assuming this is databases that can connect to Amazon Athena by region. So obviously, not all areas of the world are represented here. So at this point, I'm going to start the working demo. This is the main screen for Athena after an AWS account is created, which is very straightforward. I have an AWS educational account, so I had access to this for free. As you can see, a connection to a database is required on the left. So if you connect through S3, from that point, you can choose what database you want to query from. And then on the top right, the query is written and submitted, and the results appear on the bottom right. So from there, I went all the way to the right to the Workgroups tab. That's the last tab. And this is the place where the administrator within Amazon Athena can limit or allow access to individual members. And it also promotes efficiency with the ability to separate individual users into teams and give them certain data to work with. So that not only provides a little extra measure of security by limiting the amount of users that have access to the data, it's also a great way to divide up the workload. So at this point, I wanted to create my own database and make a table within it. I don't have any data in S3, so it would have just been an empty table within an empty database. So from there, all I had to do was type in the name of the database, the name of the table, and the location of the input data set, which is going to be within S3. I also had to choose the data, and from there, I created the column. And this is the nice thing about Athena. So this is just a sample workflow that I got from the AWS website that kind of demonstrates how S3 and Athena work in tandem. You load your data into S3. From there, you transform it in Athena, you report in S3, and then again in Athena, and then you can take it back out to Amazon QuickSight dashboard. As I mentioned before, Tableau is another program that has a connection to Athena, so if you wanted to visualize there, you could as well. But that's basically an example of how a workflow might look like with Athena. So at this point, I was very curious about who uses AWSAthena, and I was expecting it to be a lot of small businesses just because of the cost and scalability benefits. So I found a website called HG Insights, and they did a little analysis about the companies that use AWSAthena, and they found about 1,700 companies. It's actually up 95% over the past year, which is a lot of growth. A lot of these companies are in tech or business services, and the companies varied a lot in size and revenue. Some of them were very small, some of them were absolutely huge. So this graph is from HG Inside's website. Intuit and Consumer Track are two really big companies. So looking at this graph, you can see there's a huge range of companies that are below $1 million in revenue and above $1 billion. It's a very wide range. Amazon also has a little case study on a company that uses Athena. This company is called Movable Ink, and it's a company that assists email marketers in developing content. So it's essentially a public relations company. It has about 200 employees, and the database on their user actions on their website grows by about 100 gig per day. So there's a lot of growth there. They started out with Apache Hive, and then they actually transitioned to Athena. And this is just a quote from the report that was done by Amazon Web Services. That decision saved $15,000 per month for the company and improved their performance by 50%. So that's huge. This is also on the right is a chart of the industry types that use Athena. So as you can see, a lot of them are in tech, but you've also got education, entertainment, real estate. It ranges from pretty much any kind of company you could imagine. And so just to wrap things up on Athena, while it does have limitations with space and whatnot, Athena is a great resource for companies with unique data needs that still want to take advantage of SQL querying. Cost is a huge plus for this service, as well as the optimization and the external management. So companies don't really have to worry about the expense and time put into setting up a database in person. Some drawbacks can be seen at the functional level, especially with the lack of stored procedures. That might be an issue for a lot of people, and the limits for tables and querying. But we also have the connections to all of the AWS services as well as some external programs, so that's very beneficial. And it is very easy to use at any level. If I had been able to connect, I'm sure we would have figured it out very quickly. It looks like it's very user-friendly. So overall, Athena is a fantastic resource, and I really enjoyed looking into it. And this is just a collection of the references I used. AWS.amazon.com was a huge one, and then I also found a lot of information on the following websites. Thank you very much.